It's a great honor to be here. First, let me say that, and there's many thank yous to many people for what happened with M-PESA. But I probably should start just for Safaricom people to understand at that time in 2006, when a guy called Nick Hughes, who worked for Vodafone, came to see me, and he had got some money, and we see that's where this idea came that it was the British government that invented M-PESA. It was not. They put out a bid, they put out a document for a proposal to deepen the financial penetration for the unbanked. And Nick, who worked in the bowels of the earth of Vodafone, those of you who know Vodafone, there's lots of deep cellars in Vodafone, had come up with this idea to use the phone for the microfinance industry, for the repayment, disbursement and repayment of microfinance loans. He went all around the Vodafone group looking for someone to trial it and test it, and nobody wanted to do it. And he came to see me, and because, and thank goodness Safaricom is the same today, we wanted to be a very innovative organization. I said without hesitation, without knowing anything, I said, of course we'll do it. We'll trial it. Anyway, we trialed it in Thika, and in Thika the people themselves found an innovative way of how to use this menu on the phone system to send money from one person to another. And then my team came to me and said, this thing has potential, but we have to change the software to make it send money home. And they came and they persuaded me, and we spent $10 million in our first year to start M-PESA, to get the software changed, to develop it. Everybody had to change the SIM card. So it's a lot of money. SIM cards in those days cost $1.25. We had to pay the agent another $1.50 or something, Esther, for signing up the customer and all sorts of things. So it cost us a lot of money. And during that time, the Vodafone shareholders, they came and they said, you are absolutely wasting money. This is a stupid idea. You're wasting time, you're wasting money. But I said, I'm going to do it anyway. But thanks to many people, thanks to Professor who supported us. Remember, there was no regulations. As Michael said, there were no regulations. There was just a letter of no objection. And to make it more formal, when we launched M-PESA, I decided that the Minister of Finance and the Minister of ICT at the time could send money on stage. And that would sort of tick the box of being, this is now good. Because the Minister of Finance did it, the Minister of ICT did it, so it must be formal and it must be approved. We were so scared because the system, the technology at that time was just a box on a filing cabinet. And that is it. And this system, Governor, it failed almost every day. It was terrible, But thank goodness the system worked, and thank you to you for making it formal. In fact, you have a much stronger connection to M-PESA CS because your father-in-law, the late John Machuki, was the Minister of Finance at the time. And, in the newspapers, remember, Governor, you will remember this, there was a lot of questions asked of him in Parliament about this M-PESA thing. And one day I heard John Machuki say in the School of Monetary Studies that he was asked by the media what's going to happen to M-PESA, and he said, I'm going to investigate, it will not end well. So I went to see him the next morning, and he said, Michael, what's this M-PESA thing all about? So I showed him how he could send money to his foreman. At the end of it, he said, this is fantastic, leave it to me. I'll go and speak to the old man, which he meant then the President Kibaki at the time. 3 days later, a full-page advert appeared in all the local dailies that the Ministry of Finance, together with the central bank, had audited M-PESA, and it was fine. That killed it, stoned it. The banks had to go home. It was a fantastic, but thank you to many people, because I can't just tell you how many people we have to thank that are in the room. I've mentioned a few of them. But the biggest success of M-PESA was the distribution network. It was the one that made it successful. The actual ubiquity of the distribution network. And I remember, Esther, you will remember, that many of the then Safaricom dealers didn't want anything to do with M-PESA. They didn't, because then the central bank insisted that everybody come in have to have a copy of their ID, and they had to photograph their ID. There had to be some minimal KYC. And of course, they didn't want these people coming in with their tattered ID documents and photocopying and sending to us and verification. So the telecom dealers did not want anything to do with M-PESA. But we put an advert in the paper for new dealers, and the entrepreneurship of Kenyans. Thousands of people applied to become a dealer. And what we did is we established a dealership right across the country, even where we didn't even have coverage. And we had minimum of 2 dealers in every town, minimum. And I said my statement was, I want to stand at the end of the road and I want to see 2 M-PESA signs at least. And so this is how it worked. And it was the ubiquity of the distribution network that you had confidence that if you received money, you could cash it out just down the road. And if you wanted to send money, you can go and put money in just down the road. And that was the real secret of the success of M-PESA. And thanks to those many, many thousands and thousands of dealers who made this happen.
But for me, M-PESA is about the stories. It's about 180 million stories, not 180 million transactions. It's about somebody in rural being able to access financial services. And these stories are the things that make M-PESA what it is. If I take back a statement that the late Bob Collymore did, and one thing he said is, we're here to serve society and build products and services for the society. And it's about, when you're looking about visually impaired people, it's not just about how they access financial services, but it became something about the white cane stick. And that white cane is actually how they say. And today, at that time, there was not a single assembly plant for white cane. So it was about the society and then letting the customer make the choice of whether to use our products and services. And that's the most important part of what M-PESA is all about. So let me fast forward to one of the times when Michael left Safaricom. He called me to his office and said, this thing of financial inclusion is not moving fast enough. I want M-PESA. We create a product that on day one, the balances of M-PESA become bank balances. We started thinking about this thing. And Stephen Moore, I think, was here on Central Bank. And those guys helped us think about this product. And this is how our first savings and lending product started, called M-Shwari. And in 2012, we launched M-Shwari. There are many stories like that you see these products, but you actually the story behind it. Let me give you an example. M-PESA Junior. The person who created it wasn't Safaricom. The person who created it is sitting right here. It's Dr. Patrick Njoroge. And he called me and said, we have to fix this issue of kids being able to access M-PESA and then be able to go into products and services that are not supposed to be for under 18. And those stories come up, and we see M-PESA Junior, M-PESA Go, but it's a lot of passionate people understanding what we need to do.
When we launched M-PESA, the business case said that we would break even in 2 or 3 years. That was what we wanted to do. Because remember, it was not a money-making project. It was intended to be break even, a stickiness product. That we took all the loyalty money that we had, and that's where the 10 million came from. We took that money into M-PESA. So it was a loyalty product. So all we want to do is create a product that people would love. They would love us because we created a product that would change their lives for the better, and therefore they would stay with us forever.
Lipa na M-PESA, to be honest, when we started it, if Peter Arena did not believe in it, this thing called Lipa na M-PESA would not, because Peter changed the whole of the consumer business unit to focus on one single thing, building the network of the 100,000 merchants at the beginning. So just want to thank a lot of people and the teams behind M-PESA for the fantastic work that they do. I say I've got the best job in the world, and I really mean it, because every single day is like a new day. You enter the office, you're impacting lives. The humbleness and the dedication and the passion of the people who work with M-PESA and Safaricom are something I truly, truly appreciate. I want to thank them very, very much. Thank you.